Good morning, students. So welcome back to your online class. In the last class, we have started doing with the history for the first lesson, that is Mughals and the Marathas. And you have told me that I have left 4th and 5th page of the textbook, right? I was supposed to explain you Akbar's religious policy, Din-e-Ilahi and Akbar's administrative system and revenue system. So unknowingly, the page has got skipped and I further continued with Shah Jahan and his contributions, right? So today's class, let me continue with the 4th page, that is Akbar's religious policy. What was he said about his religious policy? See, Akbar could break the chains of orthodoxy due to his close interaction with his mother, teachers and Sufi saints, and he had allowed his Rajput wives to perform the puja in his palace. See, even though Akbar isn't Muslim, but still he encouraged his wife to do the pujas inside his palaces. Understood? So he had ordered against harassing the women and children of the enemy state. And he also, what did he do? He just passed an order telling that whosoever the person who is doing the harassment with the women and the children will be prisonized. Okay. And he had also ordered not to arrest the Hindus who did not take part in the war and turn them into the slaves. That means he also says that not to present Hindus people who have not joined for the war and made them as a slaves. And he also ordered against the conversions of Hindus to Islams. He abolished jizya tax on Hindus. He translated Hindu religion books into Persian languages. He showed respect towards the qualified Hindus by appointing them the high position. Raja Todmal was the famous minister of the finance. Bhagwan Das, Man Singh, Todmal and Rai Singh were the governors. And these are the people were the governors of Akbar's court. Akbar directed that festival of Rakhi, Deepavali and Shivratri should be celebrated in his court. And he also says that the Hindu festivals like Rakhi, Deepavali and Shivratri were entertained to celebrate in his court. And next comes your Din-e-Ilahi. That is, Akbar established a new religion called Din-e-Ilahi in 1582. The best aspect of all the religions were present in this new religions. This religion was a result of discussion held at Ibata Khan, where the Hindus, Jains, Zoroastrian, Christian were participated, who were there for this new new religions establishment. They were like Hindus, Jains, Zoroastrians and Christians people. They were participated in this establishment of new religions called Din-e-Ilahi. Okay, and he sought to integrate all people of his kingdom through his new religion. Abdul Fazil was the chief architect of this religion. Who is the main architect of this religion? Is Abdul Fazil. And it believed in one God, culture and the good behavior. What is this religious they completely depend upon is, they believed in one God, one culture and the good behavior. Next comes your Akbar's administrative. For administrative convenience, the Akbar had divided in his kingdom into a central government, provincial government and paraganas. Akbar was the emperor of the vast kingdom, the commandment of his army, head of the executive and the head of judiciary. And there were 4 ministers called Wakil, Diwan, Mir Bakshi and Main Sardar. These are the 4 Diwans used to safeguard the Akbar's kingdom. Understood? So he had divided the kingdom into various provinces and they were called as Subhas. The various provinces names what they were called as Subhas. And they were all together 15 Subhas. How many provinces? It just got divided into 15 provinces and that is said to be a 15 Sabhas. Sorry, it's Subhas. The each Subha is called Sifa Salhar, that means the governor. And Diwan Bakshi, the Sardar priest, a constable of Vaikya Navis. The every district had Fauzdar and Amil Gurjar of Badkichi. The administrative of the paraganas were carried out by Shikadar, Amir, Potadar and Konongo. The Akbar had established many hierarchies in his army. And there were the infantry, cavalry, elephant units and the cannon units in the Mughal army. And there were the separate department to stamp the horses called Dagmahali. Do you understand? Like this, the bifurcations, all the departments were divided in the Akbar's court and it was headed by their governors. Understood? And separately, all the horses were stamped and that stamping of horses is called as Mahali. Next comes your revenue system. This is one of the most important achievements of Akbar's administration. He brought Jukti system into a practice and it is called the system of Turmat. Bamboo measuring sticks with the iron hooks were used to measure the land. And what they used to do, no, they used to get the bamboo sticks and with the iron hook beside it, I mean in front of it. Okay, so with the expectation of banja, that is barren land, based on the fertility of the soil, all other lands was classified as an excellent, average, and mediocre. Each farmer has given a patta. The police system called Kotwal during the Akbar's time were well organized and capable, and there were the police stations in Paranganas. Akbar encouraged the architecture too. The important monuments in Fatehpur Sikri and Kajwal Bagh, Daftara Khanna, Jodhabai Palace, Daulat Khanna, Panchmahal, Birbal House, Kabutar Khanna, etc. After Akbar's elder son Jahangir came to power, he provided a good administration and continued all the policies of Akbar, and he had a personal as well as matrimonial relationship with Rajputs. He liberalized a few restrictions against the ruler of Mewat. The Jahangir personally led to an attack on Mewat ruler in 1613 CE and defeated him. After him, his son Shah Jahan came to power. And this is the total story about the Akbar's administration and the revenue system, what all the measures he have taken to measure the land. He used a bamboo sticks with a iron hook in front of it, so that through that he just started measuring, and based on the fertility of the soil, he just induces the taxes. And apart from that, he is into a chief architect, and he built many monuments, like I have told you, and he was having a many matrimonial relationship with the Rajput queens also. Understood? So next comes your Shah Jahan. Who is Shah Jahan? The Akbar's son name is Shah Jahan, and I have discussed about Shah Jahan in our last class. Okay, and we were started about Marathas also. We were doing Maratha. We just completed Marathas, and we were supposed to do with the Peshwas, right? So the page of 4th and 5th, what I have not done in the last class, I've finished now. So today's class, I'm going with the Peshwas. Understood? So that is Balaji Vishwanath. The first Peshwa ruler is Balaji Vishwanath. Understood? And he started ruling from 1713 to 1720 CE. Understood? So Balaji Vishwanath was nominated as a Peshwa as an efficient and loyal service to a commander of Sahu. He played a decisive role in successfully getting the Sahu and his mother free from captivity of the Mughals. Who's this? The Balaji Vishwanath. What he was ruling, and he was a service commander under Sahu, and due to his effort, he was capable enough to bring out his mother and his brother. Okay, from out of this Mughals route. He gained the friendship with Syed brothers of Mughal dynasty and earned the responsibility of collecting the land taxes from those areas were under the rule of Shivaji, but later captured by the Mughals. What work he used to do? No, he used to collect the taxes which were under the provinces under Shivaji. With those areas, he used to collect the taxes. Yeah. And he was able to bring together the members of Maratha Union like Bhonsle, Gaikwad, Olkar, and Sachin. And thus he established the fame of Maharashtra again. Marathas again, sorry. Next comes your Bajirao. First is the second ruler of under Peshwa. Is Bajirao. And he started ruling from 1720 to 1740 CE. Understood? So after the death of Balaji Vishwanath, his eldest son, the Bajirao I, got appointed as a Peshwa. Who was Bajirao I? He is the eldest son of Balaji Vishwanath. Okay, and he just appointed as a Peshwa. Peshwa is none other than the ruler is said to be a Peshwas. Although he was 19-year-old, he was an unparalleled warrior with the intention of expanding a Maratha kingdom to North India. Even at the age of 19, he was so bravery enough, and he started expanding his Maratha kingdom till North India. And he conquered the Gujarat, Malwa, and gained the authority to collect the Chauta and Sardesh Mukh taxes. He invaded Chitradurga and Srirangapatna of Karnataka. Where he just invaded? He invaded the parts of Srirangapatna and Chitradurga of Karnataka. And when Bajirao declared a war against the Mughals, when he waged a war against the Mughals, Nizam ul Mulk, with the intention of assisting the Mughals, tried to march towards the Delhi, but he lost the Marathas in the battle near Bhopal. Due to this vast stretch, the land of Narmada and Chambal river, the 50 lakh rupees came to Bajirao as a war compensation. So in that time itself, he just fought with this Mughal ruler of Nizamullah Malik and he expanded his kingdom and he has got a compensation of 50 lakh rupees as a war compensation to Bajirao first. Understood? So in addition to this, he conquered the Salsette Basin and the Portuguese Jintra from the Sidis. The Pune became his administrative center. At this juncture, the member of the Maratha Union, that is Sachinand of Gwalior, Holkar of Indore, Bhonsle of Nagpur, and Gaikwad of Baroda decided together and become independent. Bajirao first not only ruled with efficiently but also re-established the glory of Maratha Empire, hence is called as Shivaji II. Who was called as Shivaji II? Bajirao II is called as second Shivaji. Understood why was? Because at the age of 19 itself, he had showed so much of bravery and he expanded and ruled Maratha kingdom for almost 20 years and he just get back the Maratha kingdom to its original shape of it was ruling with Shivaji. Understood? Next comes your Balaji Bajirao, the third ruler of the Peshwa, Balaji Bajirao. And he started ruling from 1742 1761 C. Understood? Since he came to power at the age of 20 years, even this Balaji Bajirao, when did he ascend the throne? At the age of 20 years, he ascended the throne. Balaji Bajirao appointed to his close relative, that is Sadashiv Bahu, and guided him to an administration. He aspired to enhance the image of Marathas. He took measures to improve the economic state of the kingdom. He established a Maratha rule over the Bundelkhand and he travelled with armies like Olkar Sachin in the year of 1742 CE. Ahmad Shah Abdali of Afghanistan attacked Mughal areas and captured Lahore, Multan and Kashmir. Then the Mughal king Safdar Jung entered into an agreement with Marathas and this agreement related to the internal and external invasions. As expected, Adam Shah Abdali invaded India. Balaji Bajirao fought with his army in Panipat and got defeated. What happens is Balaji Bajirao, he fought with Adam Shah and he lost a battle in Panipat. Panipat is a place where the war has taken place. Next comes your Mahavir I. And he was the second son of Balaji Bajirao. Who was Mahavir first? He was the second son of Balaji Bajirao and became a Peshwa after the death of his father since he was a minor. Minor means under 18. He appointed his uncle as a royal representative. What he did? He just appointed his uncle to be the representative. After the defeat, the third battle of Panipat, he recovered in the astonishing manner and established his kingdom in South and North India. When the Nizam attempted to benefit the defeat of Panipat, Mahavir first defeated him in the battle near Ahmednagar and he defeated the Hyderali of Mysore also. Who? Balaji Bajirao. He just defeated he defeated Mahavir and Hyderali also. Sorry, Mahavir defeated Hyderali and defeated battle near Ahmednagar and defeated Hyderali of Mysore. Okay, and has not only waged a war against Mysore the second time, defeating Srirangapatna and attacking all area earlier occupied by Hyderali, but he also received a huge amount of money as a war compensation. He overthrew the Rajput Jats Rolis of North India and he helped the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II, who had been banished as a traitor, to regain the throne at Delhi. And in this manner, Mahavir re-established a lost glory of Marathas in a very short period after the British routed the Marathas in the Third Anglo-Mysore War. Maratha rule almost came to an end. Who waged a war against Mahavir? It is Third Anglo-Maratha War. Makes an end point to the Maratha rule, and this was by Britishes, and that is how the Marathas rules came to an end. Got it? By this, we have completed this lesson, students. Okay, and next chapter we are going to study the BhaktiPanth. Okay. Hope so you have understood with the Mughals and the Marathas, right? Yes. Let me start up a new lesson today, the BhaktiPanth of history. We have got 3 to 4 lessons yet to complete with the history, right? It's a very interesting lesson, BhaktiPanth. Okay, and in this chapter we are going to learn about Ramananda, Chaitanya, Guru Nanak and the Bhakti Panth in Karnataka and the effects of Bhakti Panth, the main features of Bhakti Panth. All these things we are going to study in this chapter. The emerge of the Bhakti movement is an important feature of medieval India. The concept of Mukti, Mukti means what? Salvation, has found an important place in the tradition of Indian religious and spiritual thoughts. In the tradition of Indian spiritual thoughts, the various paths attaining the moksha has been advocated. As a result, Jnana Marga, what in all margas to achieve a salvation is like, they have assumed Jnana Marga. Jnana Marga is nothing but sharing the wisdom. Bhakti Marga, through a devotee, as a devotee. Karma Marga means what? Work is worship. When we perform our work, there itself we have to see the God. Whatever the work we perform, there it shows a salvation. So Karma Marga, Yagna Marga means what? Doing yagas and yagnas, which offers God strengthens. Understood? And have been considered as important parts. The various bhakti means the pure faith in God. Actually, bhakti means what? It's having a pure faith in a God. The surrender oneself to the God, pure faith in the God has emphasized. And they tried to inculcate the sense of brotherhood among the people and also advocated the equality of all religions. And they never engaged in any rituals. They worshipped the God who had names like Rama, Krishna and Halla, and they advocated the Bhakti mark as a path of attaining a mukti. Whatsoever the religion is, they have an individual religious God, right? What they do? They just emphasize their self, show their pure love towards the God to attain salvation. That means mukti. Understood? So it could be any sect of a religion. So absolute belief in a God, the total surrenderance to the God were the basic tenets of the Bhakti Panth. What were the basic tenets of the Bhakti Panth? It's nothing but a total surrenderance to a God and showing, surrenderance to the God and absolute belief in a God. Understood? The Sufism grew the parallel development to the Bhakti Panth in Islam, and the mutual influence can be found in both the movements. The Bhakti Panth reached the people of all sections of the society due to the pro-people stance. The saints who emerged during this period expressed their bhakti in their native languages and reached the people successfully. What they did? The people would just start preaching about the God, about their religions in their regional languages. Among them, like who were all the saints who were there in those period were Ramananda, Namadeva, Kabir, Guru Nanak, Mirabai, Chaitanya, Raidasa, Surdasa, and the important in North India, Purandaradasa, Kanakadasa, and Shishunala Sharifa, the important Bhakti Panths in Karnataka. When it comes to Karnataka, all these Dasa Kirtanas, you would have been heard about this Dasa Kirtanas, right? Which were written by Purandaradasa, Kanakadasa, and Shishunala Sharifa, have enriched this Bhakti, pro-people movement into our regional languages and reached all the people and started preaching them to accept the God and to become a total surrenderance to God. Only then the Bhakti mark will be shown, and through that we can attain salvation, that is mukti. Understood? So we are going to study about the detailing about each and every saint which we come across now. The first come Ramananda. The Ramananda was born in Brahmin family. Where he was born into a Brahmin family in Allahabad. Which place? It is in Allahabad. And he was a follower of Ramanuja's philosophy. Who was he? He was a follower of Ramanuja's philosophy, and he established a Vaishnava's religions, a school based on love and devotions. And he traveled to the several places in the North India and popularized the worship of Rama and Sita. Varanasi was the center of activities, and he condemned the caste system and allowed the people of every caste to join the sect. The Kabir was one such follower, and they preached in Hindi. What was the Ramananda? Ramananda was an easy kind of a sign that he doesn't have any restriction of only these castes or these religions should participate in his scheme. He encouraged all sects of the people, includes untouchability, all religious peoples, they were into his followers. The one among the important follower behind Ramananda was Kabir. Understood? So now we are going to study about Kabir. Kabir, he was in a period of 1440 to 1510 CE. The Kabir was another saint who believed in the North India during this time, who just had a believed saint in the North India. And he was born in a family engaged in the weaving work called Julas in Varanasi, where he just born to a family called Julas. That means the sect of the people who just do the weaving, which is in Varanasi. And he was a student of Ramananda and spent most of his time at Varanasi, and he began to preach a new philosophy. He was a student of Ramananda. He started preaching a philosophy, and he condemned the caste system and the multiple idol worship and declared that God is a one and he is the same for both Hindus and Muslims. That means God is one God. There is no separate God like Hindus separate and Muslims separate or Jains separate. So God is one. So all the people should worship that one God. And he tried bringing harmony, tolerance between the two communities, and he preached in Hindi. Which language he was subjected to? He just started preaching in Hindi, the common man's language like Guru, and he preached to more people. The Kabir composed a couplets known as dohas. He has written lines for the gods, and that is said to be a doha. And Hindu and Muslim recitate those dohas even today in North India. And those dohas are there, they just start recited even today in North India. The followers of Kabir were known as Kabir Panthis. The followers of Kabir were called as Kabir Panthis, the meaning travelers who had gone on the path of Kabir, and the Kabir preached the greatness of the humorous that goes beyond the caste and religion's boundaries. The Kabir was a main religious and social reformer of India. Was he? Was a main reformer of India. Like almost you were having the followers of North and South India also. Why? Because he just entertained Hindu and Muslims also. Understood? So let me stop today through Kabir. And let me start our next sessions with Chaitanya. Okay. So hope so you have understood the lesson. And we'll see in our next class about the Chaitanya, how good he was as a social reformer in terms of attaining and showing the path of Mukti. Thank you for the class, students. Have a great day.